everybody. I am Danni Dancer. I am the Kidtropolis Educator here at Children's Museum Houston, and we are here today with a Facebook Live post, which is sponsored by our friends at Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It's part of our Wonder Week, our Boot Up Wonder Week, which is sponsored by our friends at the rodeo this whole week. So you can watch all sorts of different videos on agriculture and Texas heritage all week long, but today we actually have something really special. I'm super excited to share with you. We have some different farm animals here with us today who are very excited to meet you all at home. And to help bring these animals to us, I'd like to go ahead and introduce my guest who is here with us today. This is Colene Cabezas. She is the Parks and Recreation Director for City of Meadows Place, and she also works at our Meadows Place Discovery and Nature Center, where we have all sorts of different wonderful animals along with fun family activities. And so she's going to talk a little bit more about the Nature Center and the animals that she has brought with us. But the first animal I want to introduce you to today is actually one that we often have in our Eco Station exhibit outside, which is where we have our baby chicks on display. So this is actually a chick that I have borrowed for the day. So he's just here visiting the museum for a short while, and she is just visiting us for a short while, and then she'll go back to our friends at Wabash Feed and Garden Center. So we're really appreciative to them for letting us bring our little baby chicken out so we can talk a little bit about her. Now I actually have her in a little box, so she's got a heat lamp on her, but I'm going to take her out so we can get a closer look. Come here, little girl. All right. So this is a baby chick, and she is actually only 1 day old. She was just born yesterday. Hi, she's very excited. She wants to fly, which is a little early, but she is actually the breed of chicken that she is an Americana, and there are a couple of different sort of distinguishing characteristics that an Americana has. First of all, they have, if you look at the bottom of their feet, I'm going to turn you upside down, come on. The feet are kind of bluish on the bottom, so that's one of their characteristics. She also has a little bit of bearding happening underneath her chin here, and when she gets old enough to lay eggs, the eggs that she lays will be a little bit green in color. Now, just to tell you a little bit about our chickens, when we have these chickens on display here at the museum, the chickens actually come to us when they are just recently laid eggs. And so the eggs actually have about a 20 to 21 day incubation period. So for the first 18, 19 days, you have to keep them warm. So if they're with a mother hen, the mother hen can sit on the eggs to help keep them warm, but sometimes she's not really into that. So you might actually have to put them in an incubator that will actually rotate them and keep them warm, keep a good humidity level so that they develop properly. And that around 19 or 20 days, that is when the chicken will actually start to push its way out of the egg. It actually has a little, it's called like a tooth basically on the tip of its beak when it's first born. I wonder if this guy's, looks like it maybe hasn't fallen off quite yet. It's hard to tell, he's resting on my finger. But they have that just when they're born, and its only job is to help them create a little hole in their egg so that they can get to some oxygen. And then as they push their way out, it's important that you don't rush the little baby chicken. It needs to get out of the egg on its own, because the strength that it takes to get out of the egg is actually what helps it survive outside. Hi. And then for the first 24 hours, the feathers are really wet. It's usually pretty exhausted from pushing its way out of the egg. And it actually survives just on the stuff that was keeping it alive while it was still developing in the egg. And then when it's about a day old, so about the same age as this guy here, that's when you move it into a brooder. You have to keep it nice and warm for the first few weeks of life. You give it water, you give it some chicken food, and that's how they get to develop to become the big chickens that we're used to seeing. So the baby chick, he's only a baby, he's only this tiny cute little guy for a couple of weeks, and it's really important to take very good care of him during that time. Chickens end up living about 3 to 5 years. It kind of depends on the breed of chicken, and they are used to living in groups, so you can have a chicken chicken by itself, but it's good to have more than one chicken if you can, because they're used to being around other chickens. If you do end up having a chicken, it's important, of course, to give it the right habitat, to give it the right environment. So we want to make sure it has room to move around. We want to be aware that chickens are very, very messy, so you have to clean up after them on a regular basis. You don't want them just like roaming the house. That would be kind of gross for everybody. And they are pretty loud as well. And cities have different rules about whether or not you can have chickens. So some cities may allow them, others not so much. So you just need to check before you decide, I think I want to care for a chicken and learn about how to make one grow up. So this is our little chick. He doesn't really have a name, but I call all baby chicks Twinkle. So say goodbye, Twinkle. This was your moment of stardom. There we go. You being shy? He's so quiet now. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put Twinkle back under his heat lamp. There you go, buddy. He might make a few peeping noises down there, but that's okay. And now what I want to do is I want to reintroduce our guest, Colleen, and have her tell us a little bit about the Discovery and Nature Center. So welcome, Colleen.
Great. Thank you, Danny. And very interesting about chickens. And many things that you said are also similar to the animals that we have at our Nature and Discovery Center. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. But at our Nature Center in the city of Meadows Place, we like to educate kids, teenagers, and adults all about the world of animals, nature, plants, and conservationism. So we have indoor and outdoor activities. So if it's a sunny day, you might want to be inside or under our cool patio cover, or even up in our treehouse. We have all kinds of activities for kids to participate in. Again, all ages. We have water tables, spread your wings. Are you as big as an eagle or as small as a hummingbird? We have build and plant your own garden. So just many things for families to do. But today I brought a couple of friends. Since we are in our Houston Livestock Show season, we wanted to focus on farm animals. Our Nature Center, we have a variety of animals, but only 2 farm animal type. And one of them is my little friend here, Beans. So his name is Beans, and we got him when he was 2 months old. And he likes to stretch out, and you can see his big underside. He's just so the cutest little rabbit. And look at these big feet he has. And if you notice on the bottom of his feet, they're very furry. So you know how you wear shoes or socks on your feet to protect them when you walk around? That's what his fur is for on the bottom of his feet. So Beans has a lot of fur and very big feet to do that. He is a Holland Lop, which means instead of his ears being up like most rabbits that you see, they lop down, just like that. So he's called a Holland Lop, and he's actually one of the most favored pets in the rabbits because of his nature. He's very calm, very sweet, very loving. He makes a great pet. Now, as Danny was talking about with a baby chick, you have to have the right habitat for these animals. Most people, when they get a rabbit, they think, oh, it's going to be so easy, and I'll just put them in their little habitat and soon to forget about. Well, not these rabbits. They love attention. They love to be socialized and pet and cared for. And the thing about rabbits is they don't really show you when they're sick. They don't make noises. They're very quiet. They don't chirp like a little chicken. They don't bark like a dog. So you really have to observe and pay attention to your rabbit, making sure that their eyes are clear, making sure that they're not acting or behaving any differently than they normally would on any given day. But besides that, the great thing about rabbits, did you know, is that you can potty train them.
I did know that.
Yes.
I had rabbits when I was a kid, and it was a very exciting discovery to realize they could use a litter box.
Yes, so that's a fun thing, is that we actually keep these rabbits indoors. We keep them indoors for a couple of reasons. It's better for their health to keep them inside in an environment safe from predators, also away from parasites that typically can get to them in the grass or ground if they're walking around. But we have them inside, and they have plenty of space to hop around and interact. You don't have to have multiple rabbits together. They can be independent as long as they're getting enough love and attention from their pet owner. But if you do have multiple rabbits, definitely get them neutered or spayed. Not only are you helping to control the population, but also their temperament. If they're not neutered or spayed, they tend to be a little bit more aggressive. and you don't want that. So at our facility, not only do we have a Holland Lop, but we have another species of rabbits too, so you'll have to come and check that out.
How many rabbits do you have altogether?
So we have two rabbits altogether, and for the first year they weren't spayed and they were separated because they fought all the time.
Oh no.
Now that we spayed, or we neutered both of them, they're two boys, we neutered both of them, they love each other. They sleep snuggled together, they play together, so they're just a joy. And this being a Holland Lop, some of the key features are they have a larger tuft of hair on the top of their head, their ears lop down, and like I said, they're big feet, nice beautiful coat. They can live anywhere from 5 to 10 years is their life expectancy, and then they get a diet of alfalfa feed and also an occasional carrot or lettuce or something like that. You just have to be careful what you are feeding your rabbit. So do your homework if you decide to get one as a pet.
Always a good advice about really any animal you might want to get as a pet. Is it okay? Can I pet him?
Of course.
Hi, Beans. What's the other rabbit's name?
Lenny.
Oh, Beans and Lenny, very sweet. Do you have any stories about any interactions that either of your rabbits have had with any of your visitors to the Nature Center?
Well, Beans in particular, being that he is a Holland Lop, he loves attention. So when he sees kids come in, sometimes he'll run to the gate and he will literally stand on his hind legs and put his feet up, just waiting for attention for someone to play with him.
That's super sweet. Oh, what a nice rabbit. Thank you, Beans, for joining us here today.
Absolutely. And I'm going to put him back in his little box.
Because you have another guest that you brought with you as well.
We do have another guest. And again, safety first with all animals, not only for them, but also for the owner and the children. So you want to make sure that when you are transporting them, you have a safe, closed, sealed box that they can breathe in, but they can't get out, injure, or harm themselves. So now our second guest, are you ready?
I am very excited.
Are you ready? All right, well, he's a little bit bigger. And over here we have a Nigerian Pygmy goat. Okay, well, he's not teeny tiny, but he is still considered to be a pygmy for the breed. A pygmy means that they don't grow any larger than 24 inches from floor to shoulder, so he is considered a pygmy goat. But although they're shorter, they expand wider. So you'll see that he has a nice round belly. That does not mean that he's pregnant. He's a boy. He's not a girl, he's a boy. So he is also, much like the Holland Lop, a Nigerian pygmy goat tends to be very friendly and socialized, almost like a dog. So he gets excited when he sees visitors come and will start wagging his tail, also come over and want to be pet and played. And he's like leaving the room right now, but that's okay. We'll continue to talk about him a little bit.
He's been sitting so quietly the whole time. He's like, oh, it's my turn.
He has been. He's not used to being inside. That would be crazy too. But we have two goats at our nature center, and they're both pygmies. And one is brown and one is white. And we named them after our park staff, Dan and Dionysus, because they care for them. They've helped, they created their kennel, and so we named the goats after them, which makes it a lot of fun. But some of the unique things about a Nigerian pygmy goat is they're very athletic. That's right.
I can tell he's very strong.
Yes. So you have to be careful with their habitat because they like to climb, they like to jump, and believe it or not, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, they like to dance. So our two goats dance together. Aww. They'll raise up on their hind feet, turn their head sideways, and just dance, trying to kind of buck heads. But it is one of the funniest things to see them dancing and parading around.
Dan, you going to come back in?
He might try to come back in.
Thinking about it.
I don't know if we have his treats or not, but his treat bag is right over here. Let's see if we can get him over here. Come here, buddy. Come here.
Now, what sorts of food would you feed a goat? He's got some treats right now, but I understand goats are not generally picky eaters. So.
Well, generally not.
Okay.
However, we think that our goats are a little bit divas because they choose not to eat grass And if their food falls on the floor, they will not touch it.
Oh, really?
So they love to eat hay. They also like to eat, what we're feeding them now is a dry feed that has minerals and salt. It's very important in their diet that they're getting the minerals and salt. So if you do care for a goat and have a goat at home, please check with your veterinarian to make sure that you're feeding them the correct food. If you don't, they can get sick. And you won't know until it's a little bit too late, because they do eat, and they do eat a lot. And clean water. They need their water dish cleaned out daily. Okay. But these guys, they're pack animals. They need to be with a herd. So at least having more than one is ideal when you're dealing with the goats. Okay. The other thing with the goats is that part of their care and upkeep, and you need to find a local veterinarian that will deal with livestock, is their nail trimming, their hooves, and also their horns. So those are some things that you have to consider in dealing with goats. And he's doing his own thing, and that's what goats do.
And we've talked a little bit in some of our other videos about veterinary care and making sure that we're always taking care of an animal's wants and needs. But we've also talked about how veterinarians have different specialties, just like doctors might specialize in different types of medicine or different areas of the body. So with goats, or excuse me, so with veterinarians too, you might have a small animal veterinarian, somebody who's used to dealing with pets, or mainly dogs and cats. And then you also have veterinarians who are trained in dealing with livestock. And one of the big differences is they see a lot more patients in a day. So how often does a veterinarian need to check in with our goat to make sure that the hooves and everything are taken care of properly, and that he's getting good nutrition, things like that?
At minimal, once a year.
Once a year, okay.
But the hooves, they do continue to grow, and you can actually learn to trim them yourself, but the first time you should probably have it professionally done, so then you can follow in after that. And one more really important thing about a goat is these are horns, and horns do not fall off. Antlers, which you see like on a deer, fall off. So horns just continue to grow, and these can be sawed off. And again, that's what a vet would do, is if they become holding their ears down or anything like that. But that is the difference, that a horn does not fall off, but an antler does.
So one more question about Dan over there. What is the cutest or maybe the silliest thing that you have seen Dan do? Because he seems to be full of antics. He's definitely got a mind of his own.
He definitely is. And the thing that I mentioned earlier about him dancing, I really love to watch them dance. But another funny thing is they like to play chase. So he will actually, once they're out of their pen, you can chase them, or they'll chase you all around the yard in circles, because it's just, for them, it's playtime.
What happens if they catch you?
Well, then they nibble on your clothes. Like,
okay.
Like he just did. He ate my mic cord. Yes,
that's why. Okay. Here,
I'll
share. There we go. This is Facebook Live, everybody.
If we're having audio difficulty, it's because he ate my cord. So you do always have to keep your eye out on what they're doing and their habitat. You can't have anything leaning up against their fence line that would be in danger or poisonous to them.
Got it. Well, we can add this to the list, Dan. That's good.
Yes, that's our funny story.
Another story to tell. Awesome. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about where we can find the Discovery Nature Center, hours, admission, all of that kind of information?
Absolutely. So, City of Meadows Place is where the Nature Center resides.
Woo,
so,
Meadows Place.
So, if you go on to City of Meadows with an S place.org, you'll find information about our nature center, our parks, and all the other fun things that we do. It is a public facility, so we have hours that we are open to the public. We also do private events, birthday parties and rentals. Schools come over and use us for field trips, so we have all kinds of things going on. We have daytime, evening hours, and weekend hours. So cityofmeadowsplace.org, and you'll find all the information that you need.
Thank you so much, Colleen, for joining us and bringing your wonderful animals. We also want to extend a thank you to our friends at Wabash Feed and Nature and Garden Center. That's a wonderful place to go for gardening needs. They do all organic gardens, so that's a great place to go for those types of resources, as well as, of course, plenty of things for livestock and domestic animals there as well. And of course, thank you to Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo for sponsoring this entire Wonder Week. Like I said, there's lots of other videos for you guys to check out this week. But in the meantime, we hope you had fun meeting Twinkle. That'll be his name for, for the day. Twinkle, meeting Beans, and of course, Dan, who's now being shy. It's like, I'm embarrassed. I know I ate that corn. But thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, Colleen. And in the meantime, we hope you have a great rest of your day. Just for those who do not know, we are reopening very, very soon. So we are reopening on June 8th. For visitors, members can get a sneak preview starting on June 3rd. So we certainly hope to see you all right back here in the museum very soon. In the meantime, have a great day. We'll see you all soon. Bye.